Dear student teachers and all the viewers, welcome to today's program. Today we are going to learn a very interesting and very important area in English language. Today our topic is figures of speech. Dear teachers, you are aware that the main intention of teaching English to our students is to make them wonderful communicators. This knowledge of figures of speech enable our students to become good communicators. Before going into details, let us try to understand what is meant by figures of speech. Figure of speech refers to a word or phrase that is used in a speech or a piece of writing to make our communication more effective and clear. You observe this example, dear student teachers. She runs very fast, she runs like the wind. When you say she runs very fast, I can't understand her speed. If you say she runs like the wind, it gives more clarity. You observe this other example here. John is sitting on the fence. Here, for example, you completed your degree. Some people may say and suggest you to join in post-graduation. Some people they suggest you to join in B.Ed. And at that time you will be one situation and you can't decide. In such occasions you will be on the fence. You are sitting on the fence. That you come across such type of situations. We use this type of figures of speech to refer such type of situations. And if you come across some words and some phrases we use in our reading and writing, they convey two types of meanings. Some are literal meanings, some are what we call figurative meaning. I slept like a baby. What is the literal meaning of this? What is the figurative meaning of it? You observe. Figures of speech makes our communication more persuasive, vivid and relatable to the reader or listener. Okay, dear student teachers, we can understand it very clear that we use some words and phrases in our communication. These words or phrases, they give a special meaning to our communication and it makes our communication more effective. You observe this example. I say your garden is colorful. See, you have a garden. There are different flowers in your garden, and this is apt to say your garden is colorful. Some occasions I say your life is colorful. What does it mean? It means your life is beautiful, your life is joyful. Figures of speech provides emphasis or freshness of our expression. It gives clarity to our communication, dear student teachers. You observe, she is very tall. Say, for example, you can't understand clearly. If I say she is as tall as a giraffe, then you can understand she is very tall very clearly. Figures of speech is used in literature and we use them in our conversations and writings and they adorn our language. They awaken our imagination, dear student teachers. For example, we read some information. It may be newspaper information or it may be some reading information material. That reading material should be in such a way that should exercise my imagination. There should be something to imagine. I should imagine something and make out meaning. If such type of reading passage is there, when it exercises my imagination, automatically it leads to some excitement, it leads to some interest, it creates some interest in me. So that that material will be very much interesting to me, and I can continue my reading. And also these figures of speech, they paint vivid pictures in our mind. For example, when I am reading about a pond, that when I am reading about a pond, the image, that picture that should appear before me. That in that way, these figures of speech, using figures of speech creates vivid pictures in the minds of readers. And also this using figures of speech is a sort of garnishing our food. We garnish out, that means after completion of preparation of food, we add some what we call salt, or we sprinkle some condiments in our food. That gives taste to our food. In the same way, in our language, it may be writing, a piece of writing, or it may be a piece of communication, we add some figures of speech so that it attains a great value. See, further I would like to explain it very clear with the help of some more examples, that is, rack your brain. Rack your brain is one expression. What does it mean? You put great effort to think, you put great effort to remember something, that is rack your brain. Thinking about something vigorously, that is rack your brain. I racked my brains trying to remember his name. You see, what is meant by rack here? You see, rack is one device. It is used to punish accused persons in ancient times, and this device was used to stretch the body of the accused person severely, so that he attains some pain. This is one device, that rack. It stretches the body of that accused person, so that it gives a sort of punishment to him. Here we use it as a figures of speech. You see, I have been racking my brains to find the solution to this problem. We use in this situation. That means, and also she racked her brains to recall the correct answer in the examination. That means struggling hard, thinking with some concentration, trying to recall something very seriously and severely. In this type of occasions, we use that figure of speech, rack your brain. Let's try to understand other figure of speech, that is euphemism. See, what's euphemism? Euphemisms are soft expressions in English language. Here you observe this word is made up of 3 morphemes. These are all Greek in origin. Eu means good, fem means voice, ism means result. That means when we are speaking, our voice should be very nice, very good. That means we should use soft expressions. While we are speaking, we may come across some harsh words in our communication. These hard or harsh words may harm or may feel bad. Some people may feel bad about this type of terms. During that, those terms will be replaced with soft terms. This is called euphemism. A mild or indirect word or expression substituted for one considered to be too harsh or blunt when referring to something unpleasant. Let's understand this. Meet my friend. He is Mr. Ravi. He is very talented person. He can play tennis very well, but he is handicapped. This handicapped word may hurt my friend. That is why I say, meet my friend. He is very talented. He can play tennis very well. He is differently able person. If you replace handicapped with differently able, it sounds good, and died. My grandfather, he was a great person, he died in the year 2000. It may not opt to say like that. If you can replace passed away. My grandfather passed away in the year 2000. Sometimes we join people who are in a serious condition in hospitals, and doctor will be there. You inquire about the patient situation of the patient. The condition of the patient is very serious. At the time you ask, the doctor may say like this, I am sorry, he did not make it. What does it mean? Again, he is dead. The person is dead, the patient is dead. At that time the doctor says he did not make it. And sometimes you may attend some meetings, or sometimes you may attend some what we call conferences, in that functions like that. You have to go to toilet. At that time it is embarrassing, or it is a sort of feel bad to ask to show toilet. At that time you may ask, could you show me little boy's room? The euphemism for toilet is little boy's room in case of men. In case of women, could you show me ladies' room or restroom? These are the terms we have to use for toilet. Sometimes we have to refer some people. Some people may be fat. Go to that office. In that office, there is a woman on the chair. She is very fat. You meet her. She will help you. If you use like that, it doesn't sound good. You may use, go to office. There is a woman. Her name is Rani. She is full figured person. Instead of referring fat, you may use full figured, which is euphemism for fat. And in market also you come across euphemisms. We don't say old car. I don't say I bought a old car. I say recently I bought a previously enjoyed car or pre-owned car. And the other name to old car is previously enjoyed car or pre-owned car. We don't use second hand car like that. This euphemism for old car is previously enjoyed car. In the same way, pregnant, bun in the oven. My sister has bun in the oven. That means pregnant. Unemployed. My elder brother is a manager. My younger brother is unemployed. Don't say like that. He is between jobs. Unemployed, that is not a permanent situation. Later the person will achieve a job. That is why we should say my younger brother is in between jobs, or my younger brother is laid off. That is temporary situation. Don't refer unemployed person to anyone. You may say he is in between jobs. That is correct and apt usage. And in our classrooms also, dear student teachers, we refer some students as slow learners or dull students or backward students. See, dear students, remove these terms from our dictionary. We can't label a boy or a student, a girl, as a slow learner or a dull student or backward student. The euphemism for these words are late bloomer or future learner. In that way you should use. That is why in our classroom you come across two types of students. Some are present learners, they follow your instruction. Some should be labeled as future learners because they need some more support and they can learn in future. We can't label them as slow learners, and always encourage them, give positive reinforcement, provide scaffolding and help them to learn well. And if you label them as a slow learner, that is the word itself, it hurts. the student, and he may not able to pick up in his studies or in his future development. That is why don't use these words, dear student teachers. And slow learner, dull students, backward students should be always referred as future learners or late bloomers. And then very important thing, how to teach euphemisms, or it may be figures of speech to our students. That is why your model is very important, dear student teachers. Your way of dealing children is very important in the classroom. Students take you as a model. You are one source listening and that listening source to your students. Your English should be good. Student imitate your way of speaking. That is why see that there should not be any harsh word in your way of speaking in the classroom. For example, you want a chalk piece. You need not comment student, Ravi, could you run to the office and bring me a chalk piece, or please bring me a piece of chalk. If you use this type of soft expressions in your way of speaking, the same will be picked up by our students and they become a good communicators. You use classroom English in such a way, and sometimes there will be some reading passages. You transact some reading passages from different sources. It may be from textbooks or from other sources, and when they are reading such type of information, they come across figures of speech. Let our students identify those things and give encouragement to them to use such type of that expressions in their reading or in their writing or in speaking, and relate them in reading passage, and also linking these things in their day-to-day life. One student may say, my grandparents are very old. Correct him. Let our students use euphemism. My grandparents are senior citizens. I love them, I respect them, I help them. In such a way, you encourage students to make use of figures of speech or this type of euphemism words in his day-to-day life. Linking this language to his day-to-day life enable our students feel very happy. The things that are happening in my classroom are really useful for me, and they are very essential, and I have to learn. In such a intrinsic motivation should be developed in our students. Observe here, I created one situation to enable you or understand you how to teach euphemisms to your students. Here I am referring my friend. Meet my friend Sunil. He is a poor person. He is a poor man. Because he is poor, he recently bought an old car. His parents are very old. He has a brother and sister. His brother is unemployed and his sister is physically handicapped. I used all harsh terms which may hurt my friend Sunil. Ask your students, dear students, now I used harsh words, replace them with soft words, polite words. In such a way, people feel happy to listen. Then our students may use, he is Sunil, he is economically disadvantaged person. Because he is economically disadvantaged person, he bought a pre-enjoyed car. His parents are senior citizens. He has a brother and sister. His brother is between jobs and his sister is differently abled person, and she is very talented. Just we changed that previous way of communication with new communication by using all euphemisms and soft terms. In such a way, dear student teachers, we should develop wonderful communication skills and make our students wonderful communicators by helping them to use figures of speech in their regular usage. It may be speaking or writing. In such a way you may think of and help your students. Let us come to other type of figures of speech. This figure of speech is anaphora. In writing or speech, the deliberate repetition of the first part of the sentence in order to achieve an artistic effect is known as anaphora. In anaphora, we repeat the first part of sentences. By repeating first part of the sentences, give more emphasis to our communication. We give more emphasis to our ideas. We would like to elevate and communicate to others. Observe this. Anaphora is repetition of words or phrases at the beginning of consecutive lines, sentences or paragraphs. See here, life is an adventure, dare it. Life is a love, enjoy it. Life is a tragedy, face it. Life is a struggle, fight it. Life is a promise, fulfill it. Here I would like to say about life. I would like to give prominence to life. I would like to give communication about that importance of life, and I am using anaphora here. And here I would like to convey one message about the importance of trees. Tree gives us food, tree gives us shelter, tree gives us oxygen, tree gives us rain. Hence let us protect trees, let us participate in Haritaharam. Here, by repeatedly using the word tree, I am giving more prominence. I am encouraging, or I am giving a sort of message to listeners to understand the importance of trees, and in such a way I am inspiring people, I am motivating people, I am encouraging people to protect trees here. I am using anaphora, one way of figures of speech. And figures of speech, people use these figures of speech even in poems and rhymes. Rain on the green grass, rain on the housetop, rain on the hill, rain on the tree, rain on everything, but not upon me. This is one rhyme. Here, the author used rain on several times in starting of each sentence. See, it gives a sort of pleasure. It gives a sort of rhythm. It enables me to remember it very well. People can memorize it very well. Small kids memorize it, and they can easily grasp this, and not only that, they derive a sort of pleasure while they are singing this type of rhymes. And also we lay emphasis on idea we want to convey by using anaphora. Anaphora is a rhetorical language device. Sometimes we use it like that. Some advertising agencies, they use anaphora to elevate their product. See, here one real estate agency, they would like to encourage people to buy their homes. There is no place like home. There is nothing comfortable like this. There is nothing joyful like this. There is no better time to buy than now. Dear friends, buy our homes. Now they are very cheap. Come on, book your home immediately. This is the way of some advertising agencies use anaphora to give prominence or motivate people. And also politicians, they use anaphora in their speeches. They use it as a rhetorical device in their addresses and speeches to evoke as a passion among the audience. See, great people also, they use anaphora in their speeches. Now here is a small video, dear student teachers. Observe this. Swami Vivekananda used anaphora in his speech.
Distinguished delegates to the world's Parliament of Religions, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the afternoon session of the opening day today, the 11th of September, 1893. We now introduce you to Swami Vivekananda, from India and request him to address us. Swami Vivekananda.
Sisters and brothers of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions. And I thank you in the name of the millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. My thanks also to some of the speakers on this platform who, referring to the delegates from the Orient, have told you that these men from far-off nations may well claim the honor of bearing to different lands the idea of toleration. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. I am proud to tell you that we have gathered in our bosom the purest remnant of the Israelites who came.
Okay, dear students, student teachers, just you observed a video where Swami Vivekananda used anaphora in his speech. Let's try to understand what are the functions of anaphora. In literature, great people use anaphora in their writings to add rhythm to it, to make their product as more pleasurable to read and easier to remember. See, here are some examples, read them, you can understand anaphora. Every day, every night, in every way, I am getting better and better. My life is my purpose, my life is my goal, my life is my inspiration. See, here is a funny way of saying, buying diapers for the baby, feeding the baby, playing with the baby, this is what your life is when you have a baby. The wrong person was selected for the wrong job at the wrong time for the wrong purpose. And also some great people speeches you observe. Winston Churchill's speech during the Second World War is famous for anaphora. Let us try to understand the next figures of speech. Next figure of speech is irony. What is meant by irony? Irony is a figure of speech in which words are used in such a way that their intended meaning is different from the actual meaning. In simple words, it is a difference between appearance and reality. That means you read something that the meaning of that is different. Sometimes it is totally a contrast things you may observe. That is irony. Irony is of two types: verbal irony, situational irony, and dramatic irony. Verbal irony occurs when a speaker speaks something contradictory to what he intends to say. See this example. When in response to a foolish idea, we say, what a great idea. The weather today is excellent. For example, the weather is very hot. During that time, I feel very unhappy, and I feel very unhappy. And during that time, I say, the weather today is excellent. If you say, it gives opposite meaning. This is one example of irony. Oh, I am really enjoying this cool weather. This is one example of irony. To define it simply, it occurs when a character uses a statement with underlining meaning that contrasts with its literal meaning. It shows that the writer has used verbal irony. For example, you prepare food and you ask your friend to taste it, and he says the taste, your food is very delicious. In an unhappy situation, in an unhappy mood, if he says your food is delicious, that is not that is not one compliment to you. Remember that he is using irony to criticize your food. Situational irony occurs when actions or events have the opposite result from what is expected or what is intended. See this example. You give suggestion to your friend. Your friend and you are walking on the floor which is slippery. The floor is wet and slippery. Be careful. You are suggesting your friend and you slipped and fall down on that floor. That is one example of irony. And see here one other example. Thank you for driving carefully. The intention of this signboard is to give message to drivers to drive carefully. Just behind this board you can see one car accident. This is one irony. See, observe, there is one hoarding. Police people are giving some instructions to drivers, that is texting while driving kills. That means don't use cell phones while you are driving, drive carefully. That is the intention of that message on the hoarding. Just below you observe, read, for more driving tips text safety to so and so number. And here two things are contradictory. Here one message they are giving, and again they are asking or they are giving information to drivers to text something to attain to get some tips. This both of them are contradictory, and they are this is one example for irony. And you observe this, and all the photos are there. They are in such a way that encouraging smoking. On that, no smoking board is given, that a message is given. You observe here, the intention of fire engine is to put off fires, instead it is burning, is one example for situational irony. You are in America, speak English, encouraging people to use only in English in America. That is the intention of this signboard or this poster. Poster itself contains many mistakes. On the other hand, on the other side, you may see a fitness center which is meant to develop the strength of the people, that means giving a proper training to them to attain physical fitness. For that, there you can find one escalator. Most of the people are using escalator. That is one example for irony. And generally, you observe animals will be in the cage and people will be outside. You observe here, people are inside and animals are outside, quite opposite. This is one irony, situational irony. This one mall is there, they say that they can repair anything, but there you observe, please knock hard on the door, the bell does not work. They are not in the position to repair their things, and they say that they are for repairing anything. That is one irony. And you observe in Romeo and Juliet, in literature also you come across this irony, dear student teachers. In Romeo and Juliet, Act 1, Scene 5, Juliet says, go ask his name. If he be married, my graveyard is like to be my wedding bed. Juliet says these words to nurse, go and ask his name. If he be married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed. And here Juliet commands her nurse to find out who Romeo was. She was in love with Romeo at first sight, and says if he were married, then her wedding bed would be her grave. It is one verbal irony, and also it is one example for dramatic irony also, because audience know they know that what is going to happen. That is why they know more information than the characters. That is why this is one example for dramatic irony also. And here Romeo finds Juliet drugged and assumes she is dead. Immediately after that he kills himself. Then she awakens, see that he is dead, and after looking at Romeo who is dead, she kills herself. This is one example we can find in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. And here you observe Romeo assumes that Juliet is dead, but Juliet she has taken a sort of drug and she is in coma only, and he feels she is dead. And after assuming like that, Romeo himself, he consumes poison and commits suicide. Then after the effect of the drug, which is their that plan, and she wakes up, Juliet wakes up and observes Romeo is dead. Immediately after knowing this, she kills herself with a knife. See this small video.
Lips, oh, you doors of breath, seal with a righteous kiss, a dateless bargain to engrossing death. Come, bitter conduct, come, unsavory guide, here's to my love.
In this way, dear student teachers, you come across using of irony by great people in their writings to give a wonderful effect in their writing. In such a way, you make your students to understand irony in their reading passages and help them to use this irony in their even regular reading and writing. Let us try to understand this dramatic irony. Just you observed, this is one of the examples of dramatic irony also, dear students, the Romeo and Juliet. And here in this dramatic irony, characters doesn't know, but audience know what is going to happen, what is happening in that drama. This is called dramatic irony. And let us try to understand one other figures of speech, that is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is defined as a word which imitates the natural sounds of a thing. It creates a sound effect that mimics the thing described, making the description more expressive and interesting. You observe zip. Zip is an onomatopoeia word. Zip, when you hear zip word, you understand that the sound imitates zip, that you recall a zip there. That is the greatness of onomatopoeia. You observe here the buzzing bee flew away. B gives a sound, buzz sound, buzzing zzz sound, that we call a buzz sound, that is onomatopoeia word. That there is a relation between that word and the sound that makes. And you observe rustling leaves. Rustling leaves kept me awake. Rustling leaves. Rustling, when you hear that, that related to that sound we come across while we are walking on those leaves. And observe a small video here.
All right, welcome back to Weekly Words. My name is Alicia, and this week we are going to talk about commonly used onomatopoeia. This is going to be a fun one. We talked briefly about an onomatopoeia zoom in a previous episode of Weekly Words. We're going to talk some more about some more. We're going to talk about more today. The first word is beep. Oh, beep. Beep is any kind of electronic sound or a car sound. It was also in a popular American cartoon, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. The Roadrunner would commonly say, neat, neat. Car sound will usually make a beep or a honk sound. For electronics, however, the beep becomes a little bit more robotic. We'll often say like beep, 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 beep. So in a sentence, let's say you have a computer problem. You tell your friend, the computer won't stop beeping at me. What do I do? Next is the sound jingle. Jingle is any kind of light ringing sound. This word gets used a lot in holiday seasons, particularly Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. Any jingling sound is very commonly assigned to bells. Like the song Jingle Bells, for example, is a perfect example of this. Jingle is just the sound that a bell makes. In a sentence, let's see, you might say, she has a small bell attached to her phone, so she jingles everywhere she walks. It's really irritating. Okay. The next word is thump. A thump is for something to hit heavily. To give an example, the people who live in the apartment above me often thump on the floor. It sounds like maybe they're dropping something.
Okay, dear student, just you watched a small video that shows onomatopoeia. And bang is one word that refers a sound that is made by a cracker. And also when something that falls into water, it gives splashes the sound. And cell phones, they give beep sound. Computers, cell phones, we come across one sound, beep. And sizzling is related to food. Omelette is sizzling in the pan. And gushing, the stream flows in the forest. The gushing stream flows in the water. In the forest, the gushing stream flows in the water. It gives more that clear meaning when we read. The stream flows in the water. The gushing stream flows in the water. Gushing related to the sound that is created by what we call a stream. Functions of onomatopoeia. We use some words, we use words to give meaning, but onomatopoeia, these words, in other hand, they helps readers to hear the sounds. By using onomatopoeia words, we give a sort of what we call some pleasure to ears. And our ears, and we hear the things. This is the greatness of onomatopoeia. Because the words and the sounds, the words, they refer the sounds. The pronunciation of the words are like the sounds that they produce. That is the greatness of onomatopoeia. That is why you use onomatopoeia words in our writing, makes our writing a wonderful piece. Here readers understand well the beauty of onomatopoeia words lies in the fact that they are bound to have an effect on the reader's senses. Let us come to last one, that is satire. Satire is one technique, dear students, teachers, we come across in our newspapers. Especially they use satire to educate people. They use humor, irony, exaggeration in satires. It is to educate people. You observe, this is one example of a satire. We conduct one examination irrespective of the background of people. This is one example of the satire to in connection with the examination system that we take up in your schools and institutes. This is a satirical way of showing the heavy loads in school bags, hiking of petrol prices. This is a satire that shows or discouraging about deforestation or cutting of trees. In this way, dear student teachers, just you learnt some of figures of speech in our today's class. You identify them in your reading passages, use them. Dear student teachers, give training to your students to make use of these figures of speech in their speaking, so that they can become wonderful communicators. Thank you very much, dear students. Wish you very good luck.